Hi, welcome to the InDesign CC 2021 Classroom in a Book for Chapter 1. We're going to go ahead and work on getting to know the InDesign workspace and playing with this postcard. We are going to vary a little bit from the book because the book does do a lot of do this and undo it, which is kind of boring. So we're going to make sure that you actually get to produce something by the time you're done. Let's take a peek. Let's go into your Lesson 1 folder. You should have downloaded all of these assets. And let's go ahead into the start.InDesign. You will have to have InDesign loaded before you can make these work. And it's going to say you've got some problems. So it's going to say, do I want to update the links or don't? Say go ahead and say update the modified links. And that'll go ahead in your links folder and find those places where these elements actually belong. So let's do it before we get started. Always get in the practice of File, Save As, and saving your documents. Let's go ahead and make sure it's in our Lesson 1. Let's do our first initial, last name, underscore, InDesign, Classroom in a Book, Chapter 1, and hit Save. Alrighty, so what do we have here? First thing we want to do is make sure we're all working in the same workspace. So if you want to make sure we're working in the same workspace, let's go ahead and go up here to our top right-hand corner, and let's go ahead and go into, which one should we work on today? Let's just do Essentials. So there's a lot of different ways your workspace can look depending on what you're trying to do. So if you use older versions of InDesign, you might want to do the Essentials Classic, which does your control panel here at the top, which can be really convenient depending on what you're going to do. So let's go ahead and take a peek at what does this workspace look like. If we look at the top, it looks a little bit different on a PC than it does on a Mac. I'm on a PC. So at the top, you get your menu bar. On a Mac, you will get the little apple over here, and that is where you'll find some things. Here, you get your document name and kind of how big you're looking at it. So I'm looking at this one at 227%, so I know it's really big. Let's go ahead and right here on the left, you get your Tools panel. Anywhere on the Tools panel where you have a little tiny triangle, it means there are more tools underneath or something else hidden underneath. That wasn't a very good one. All right, so if you click on it, you'll find you'll get more tools underneath. So sometimes when you're trying to find something, look to see if you've got that little tiny triangle. You do have what's called the paste board. The paste board is the area around whatever you're working on. So thinking of it as kind of your tabletop. Down here, you get your document window. So we kind of can do your previews. Right now we're in what's called preview mode. Let's go ahead and switch back to normal. And you can kind of see anything you've got stuck over to the side that's not on your publication yet. So right now we've got kind of the sticker, which we will put on there later. We're going to go ahead and see on the right-hand side, you should have a few different tabs, panels. So one is Properties. Properties is going to change depending on what you're working on. So you will see different things appear depending on which tools you have selected. Pages. So this allows you to go ahead and see the different pages in your document. It's also got one called CC Libraries. So it's a Creative Commons library. So if there's maybe you're working for a company and you use your logo all the time, you can put your logo in there and make it so you can grab that really easily. Okay, other things you can look at. Down here at the bottom, you see you've got this 150%. So that lets us know how much we're, what scale we're looking at. So 100%. So this is how big it actually is. I've got my rulers up here at the top. My rulers right now are in inches. If I do a right click, I can change that to points or picas. I generally like inches just because that's the way my brain works. But you can always right click and change those. You can click out and close that. You can go through your different pages down here at the bottom. You can go to page 1, page 2, or the master. You can go through and change pages that way. So there's a lot of different ways to get the same information. Adobe's really, really good at giving you 10 ways to do one thing. So sometimes it's a matter of finding the way that you like the best. I'm going to close that one. All right, so that's a brief overview, and as you start using things more, it will become a lot more second nature as you discover things. So one of the first things we're going to do is select and use our tools. The selection tool is one where you're going to use all the time. It is the black arrow. To me, it kind of looks like a hollow arrow, but it's the black one. If you do hover over, you should get your tool tips, which will tell you, what it is. It'll also tell you sometimes the keyboard shortcuts that go with it. So if I just hit A, I could get the direct selection tool. So there's different ways to get around depending on what you are most comfortable with. So let's go ahead and come in near the hummingbird. So you're going to see what we're going to select the frame. In InDesign, everything has to live within some type of frame. So this frame is telling us a little bit of information. Let's go ahead and look over here at the side. It tells us how big that frame is. So it's 3.5 by 4 inches. It's telling us where on the X and Y coordinates it's actually located at. So those can work in your favor. So let's go ahead and just drag that frame up a little bit. And you see how those numbers move. So you have a really good idea how to, where you are on a page. Go ahead and do Control Z until you put that picture back where it was. All right, Control Z, undo is going to be your best friend. You can also do the edit and undo at the same time. All right, so let's go ahead and use that type tool. Let's go ahead. Mine's on type on a pastel because I was doing something else. So my type tool is big letter T. And that's where it's going to allow us to enter, edit, format text. So let's grab that type tool and go ahead and click after the word flower beds or flowers. And let's go ahead and do some fun stuff. You're going to see that we have, we're going to do something else. All right, let's double click on the word attract. So attract is going to give us, let's do something fun to it. I'm going to do a Control Plus and zoom in. So I want to attract hummingbirds. So let's go ahead and make it bigger. I'm going to make it 18. And I'm going to change my font. So I'm going to go instead of Minion Pro, choose something else that you like. Anything that you like. So I'm going to do that. And I want to change the color. So I'm going to change that fill color to hot pink. So now if I go to my selection tool, you'll see that now I have attract is something a little bit different. So do the same for fabulous. Do something different for fabulous. So maybe I'm going to make it 18 and green and some type of font. So whatever you have on your machine that makes it work for you. I'm going to do a Control S and save what we've got right there. And you'll notice maybe, let's go back into attract. It's going to say regular. So I can't make this one bold. You can only make a font bold if there is a bold version of the font available. So not every typeface or font is going to have that available. Just so you know when you can't find it. All right, let's go ahead and do a Control S and save. So now we're going to go ahead and play with a slightly different tool. We're going to go ahead and add a line. So let's go ahead and add a line in between workshop and plant a hummingbird garden, which I hate how it's hyphenating there, but we're going to play with that in a little bit. So let's go ahead to the next tool down, grab our line tool. With our line tool, we're going to see our choices. So our fill right now is going to be kind of brown. It's kind of bleh. So let's go ahead and change that color. I'll make a black line. Nope, undo. So it did that because that was already selected. So let's make sure we select out, select on our pasteboard, or do an edit, deselect all. Now let's grab our line. With our line, we should be getting some properties. And they're not showing up. I don't know why. All right, so we want to draw a line. We're going to hold it here, hold our mouse down, hold Shift, and bring it across to about the end of workshop. Let go of my mouse, let go of my Shift key. The Shift key makes it so you can't go crooked. So let's go ahead and change, black's fine, but if you wanted to change it, you could make it a different color. Fill and stroke. So let's go ahead, and align is all stroke. So I don't know why they give you fill as an option. Fill should be none. And I'm going to change that stroke to pink. Come on. Pink. All right, so now I changed that color. Now I can grab that selection tool. I can make it a little bit longer if I want to. You do have a few options. Oh, I just made another line. Undo. All right, so let's do Control minus. And let's add, oh, it's kind of a boring line. Let's change that line. Let's, with our selection tool, come here to stroke. And if you notice here, we've got kind of a line type. So go ahead and choose something else. Wavy, you could choose dots, Japanese dots, totally up to you as to what you want to choose there. I'm going to Control plus and grab that end marker and drag it just a little bit longer. So you do have the option to change that. So that's what's nice about InDesign. A lot of times you can go back through and try something else if something's not working for you. All right. And the next thing we're going to do is do a Control S and save. I'm going to do Control minus and zoom out, or I can grab my zoom tool here and do a Alt and click minus, and it'll make it go small. So it's Alt or Option depending on which computer system you're using. For a PC, it's Control. For a for a Mac, it is a Command. There we go. And on the PC, it's Alt. On the other, it is. I'm trying to see if why is Hummingbird still broken? All right, I'm going to grab that Hummingbird word and change it because that's bothering me a lot. I hate the hyphen. All right, so let's grab the word Hummingbird. Come on. And today my computer is going to be slow. All right, so let's go ahead and make Hummingbird something else as well. So my fill. We'll make him pink. And we'll make him that same fresh line or whatever you've got. And I have about 10 jillion fonts because I've been doing this a really long time. And every time you turn in another assignment, I get to see more stuff. And let's go ahead and bring that point size down. And it's still, there we go. All right, so that's what we've got so far. Let's do Control S, and I'm going to go ahead and split this recording so you don't have too much in one. I'll see you on part 2.